Hello. Thank you so much for taking the time to meet with me this afternoon. I'm excited to potentially be a part of such a great company. It truly is fascinating to see how this company has continued to be a pioneer in their field. Companies in this day and age have to adapt with the changing market, and how you guys have done that year after year is just amazing to me. I want to start off by telling you some of the things that I have to work on to make sure they don't interfere with my job. I think people shy away from their weaknesses, and I don't think there really is a need to. It's important to identify them, address them, and maybe you can't turn them all into strengths, but you could be aware of them and make sure they don't hinder what you're trying to do. My first real weakness is I have a horrible memory. It's just something that is there, and I'm aware of it, and so I consistently have to write things down, and I set a lot of reminders. I set, depending on what needs to be done, sometimes I do it as an alarm. Sometimes it's several reminders at different points of a project. I also hate to admit this next thing that's really hard for me is I have to really put forth an effort not to procrastinate. Now, the big thing that I do to negate this is almost kind of with the memory thing. It's just setting a reminder on the calendar at different points in the project and making sure that I'm staying on task and I'm not letting other things get in the way of this other task that has to be done. So that's how I tackle both of those problems. And those are both things that personality-wise, they're there. I'm better at them, but they're there. There's something that I have to address. There's something I have to be aware of. I just think it's really important to be honest with yourself and catch not only your strengths that you can use to help you, but also your weaknesses. If you ignore your weaknesses, they become a problem instead of you knowing about them and you're able to take steps to make them your strengths and be a more effective person, which makes you a better employee. So shying away from the concept of, oh, these are my weaknesses. So I tell you those first because I don't feel you should shy away from them, which brings us to my strengths. And my biggest strength is my ability to be able to work with people. Part of this is I enjoy being around other people and working with them. So that helps play into this strength. One skill that I picked up along the way that's really helped me become a better manager is to listen. And listening is not just hearing the words, but actually understanding what they're trying to say to you. I've found that most employee conflicts are because they're not listening to each other. I can't tell you how many times I've sat down with two people and asked one person to tell me, hey, what's going on? Then you ask the other person to tell their side of what's going on. And it comes to find out the problem was they just weren't listening to each other. Lots of times they were agreeing with each other, but just saying it in different ways. So all the problem was miscommunication. So having this ability is great. And that makes a good manager to be able to listen, work out problems. But that manager is going to be running from problem to problem to problem, trying to solve all the issues that happen in the workplace. I feel you have to teach your employees these skills, and that makes you a great manager. Employees shouldn't be running to the manager for every problem. They need to be taught to solve things on their own. And that is what makes me different than the other people that you interview. I can tell you, by hiring me, you'll be investing in a person that will help train, teach, and retain your most important assets, which are your people, your employees, your customers. Now, by doing that, myself and the other employees, we can take care of the customers more effectively. And that's what the goal is. So by having a better trained staff, you have employees that are taking care of your customers more effectively. And you're not paying a lot of turnover. Turnover is a huge cost in business. Training employees time and time again will really cost a company down the road. So by picking out, noting how to interview and see potential in other people, so hiring the right people right from the beginning, training them, keep training them, because change is constant. You have to change in order to continue to be better. And then this retains the employee. Now, lots of companies take great care of the customers, as I've talked about. But like I've been saying, it's the employees that you need to work with almost just as much. I look at employees as customers myself. They're internal and external customers. The people that work with me are just as important in many ways as the customer. That doesn't take away from the customer, doesn't take away that we need to be making the customer feel fantastic when they walk into the place of business, because that pays the paychecks, obviously. But the employees are the ones that are interacting with them. Now, I'm not looking for a regular job. I'm looking for a career. 30 years from today, I want to be sitting in my office with you guys and somebody bringing in a cake for my retirement party. You don't get career employees very much anymore. I mean, it's not uncommon for people to have 10, 20 jobs. They move from place to place. I'm looking for a company that takes care of their employees. And from the strength in your sales and by where your company is today, that's what I see with this company. So that's how we match, is taking care of employees, taking care of customers. And that's what you get when you hire somebody like me. You're not just getting a guy that's going to punch the clock. We have personal lives. I'm a single dad. I have 5 kids. But when I come to work, I have the ability, and I expect the same thing out of coworkers and employees, to check your problems at the door, hang them up on the coat rack, and get to work. That's not saying that we don't care about what's happening, but as far as the customers are concerned, they don't want to know about all your problems. They want to come in and have a great experience. And I think that's important. Now, if an employee comes to me, they're having a hard time, I definitely want to have a relationship with each of their employees that they'll be comfortable enough to tell me that, because it's important. We may not go out after work and hang out with each other, but we'll be friends. I'll be friends with every single employee that I work with. And a lot of people think that you can't have that friendship manager relationship. And I'll admit, sometimes it's tough where they think, boy, I thought you were my friend. Yes, we're coworkers. You're my friend. But I'm also your boss. So it doesn't get in the way of that relationship of, this is what needs to be done. We get it done. And we have fun doing it. Because if everybody's happy and everyone's moving in the same direction, that's how you achieve success. And that's where I've spent an enormous amount of energy in training, in learning, and a lot of it is just fun to me. So it's not even really work. When you look at it in some ways, working with people, I just really enjoy it. Yes, there's the bad times that you have to be the quote-unquote bad guy. But even those times can be better, and depending on how you handle it. Well, I really appreciate your time. I am really excited about having the opportunity to work with you guys, and I'll look forward to hearing from you. If you have any questions, feel free to give me a call. Thank you so much.